Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of How To in My Summer Car. In this video I'll be showing you how to get the car generalized and started. First, this is the chassis that we'll be working on. It's always going to be located right here, and you can choose whatever color you want it to be to start with in the game launcher. It's pretty cool. First couple things you want to do is open up the garage door, and then come over here and check the pistons. So in this save, and you can reload the save multiple times, although you have to make sure you have saved before if you want to continue on that save, or it'll just keep resetting the world. What right now you're looking at is this is a good piston, and by good I mean it's a generalized condition of good. This piston right here is bad, so it has a lot lower durability and it will fail sooner than the rest of these pistons. So if you're this early into the save, you might want to reconsider and just restart the world. A few other things, you want to come over here, scroll 3 pages over, and grab the AFR gauge by just clicking the price. Once you do that, it shows up, and you can unselect it too by clicking it again. So make sure it's over here. Again, this is in Finnish language, so you won't be able to read it, but there is English subtitles whenever hovering or NPCs talking to you. You want to scroll over a few more times and grab the ratchet set. This will make it a lot easier later. And then you want to grab that into an envelope. Once you have this envelope, you want to come over here and you want to grab your little moped slash motorcycle, and you kind of want to move it past, and you want to just make sure you have your envelope in a generalized good location. You want to come over here and look at the fuel tap, and then right click. This will turn the fuel on. That way you are able to start it. If you left click, and it goes to reserve. This means once you run out, you're done. You have no more fuel in the tank. Obviously, you can refuel it by looking at the cap and unscrewing it using your mouse wheel. But most of the time, you want to have it on, so that way when you run out here, then you can move over to reserve and you have a little bit more fuel to get home or do whatever. Most of the time, just wants to be on. Next, you want to grab wherever your envelope is and you want to get on. You see how it kind of jumped when I did that? If you get off and it resets itself and then you get on again, it just sends whatever you have on there flying. It's not really a fun time when you have things. So you want to let it do its weirdness first and then place it. If it's placed here, it'll stick. So then you don't have to worry about it flying off. Now you want to get yourself kind of centered up and then hit your driving mode button. Mine is mapped to Z. Most of the time, the default is enter. Then you kind of want to search along the side here for the word kickstand, left click it. I double clicked on accident, so you'll just want to make sure it stands up correctly. You want to hold W, just left click the Kickstarter, so it starts up. This does take a few times. Once it started, you can't like overdo it. So if you don't even have headphones and you have the sound off, then you can still tell when it's on. What you want to do is hold W, then hit G as your shift button unless you have it mapped to something else. And again, you can have custom controls like hitting escape and going to drive mode. Once you see the screen like this, you'll hit G again and shift it one more time. There's a total of 4 gears, but 4 you normally won't even get into unless you're on roadways or you're going really fast. So once you get here, you can either cut the engine off, or if you just get off, then it stalls it. There is lights if you want to drive at night. Wouldn't really recommend it, but it's okay. Now, if you notice, I'm off of it with the kickstand down, and it's still kind of standing up. That's because when you're in close proximity to it, it behaves normally. But once you get out of its proximity, it kind of resets itself, and the physics apply once again. You want to take this, jump on your little boat, put it in the corner or somewhere where you can like monitor it. Because if you put it down here or up here, then there's a high likelihood it's just going to fly out. You want to grab your little moped, or you can walk, but it's not really that fun of a walk. It's better with a moped. You want to place it down for now, and then hit your drive button again. Then you want to left hold on the starter and just rip it off. And it goes back, and you can hear the engine started. Then go to the gear select, left click to go down, right click to go up. There's only one gear in this thing. There's technically three. There's one forward, neutral, and reverse. You want to go to forward. A and D operates this. S doesn't really do anything, but W means it goes forward. You want to pick up zones because when you have stuff, it doesn't have physics. It doesn't have interaction with physics. What we want to do right now, head towards, if you look right above the sea, there's a little dirt patch. That's what you want to be heading towards. There are other NPCs in this game, like this man right here. He's kind of going across right now. So as of right now, you want to head towards that area. I will meet you over in that area. So as you can see, it is a little bit darker as it did take a little bit of time, about 5 minutes. And you can see that my packet has slid around just a little bit. You want to make sure that it doesn't ever fall off. Once you get up, you want to come over here and kind of just shove your boat in the middle. You can push it out later. You want to drop it and then shut off the engine as you don't want to be using fuel. As you see, the physics kind of get a little buggy. So you want to just kind of get out. You can right click to throw it, but things do have weights. Things do have like considerable weight. And so if I threw the Jones, then it's not going to go very far. But if I threw the envelope, it goes a lot farther. You just got to be worried about that. Remember, go over, pick up the Jones, and set it on its side. You can also deploy the kickstand at pretty much any point, and kind of set it back on its side. Normally, you can just walk over it, and it'll stand up. So once again, you get it started. It's a little bit snuff just because it's a two-step. Again, it's a little sluggish right off the start, and you want to follow one of two routes. I'll take the second route on the way back. I'm going to go first left, and these are dirt roads, so there's some more NPCs. You just tap A and W, or if you have a steering wheel, then you can use that. So there's no cars coming, steer on this, and then this is where we're going. Kino's the grocery store thing. I don't know its exact name. All I know is it's called Kino's. Now, I like to normally just stall it as it doesn't really do much. Then you want to put your postal in this little post box. What'll happen is he finds it after the end of the day, puts in the order, and then at home, if you never noticed at the start, obviously he talks to you sometimes. If you noticed at the start of the video when I passed by a phone, he'll call that telling you your package is ready, and then you pay at the cash register here with the money you have up in the top left. So the things you need to buy while you're here is you need to buy a bottle of motor oil, 3 bottles of brake and clutch fluid, a battery, 2-stroke for your Jones and your boat, because you only have enough fuel for 1 trip for the boat, so you need to fill it up. Battery, oil filter, spark plugs, 2 light bulbs. I also like to come over here and grab a fuse package and batteries for a flashlight that we have in our house. Once you got all that, you also could stock up on some food, but for right now, that's not our concern. So once you have it, his price will show up there, and then kind of just hover over the cashier at pretty much any point, mostly this little box here. And then just left click to pay the total, gives you a little bag, and he kind of just throws all this stuff on the floor. So what I like to do is I like to go in one at a time and kind of just take them all once outside because it's easier to walk and run inside. And it looks like I messed up and I bought 2 batteries. But that's okay because then we can have a spare. I will leave the spare one right here. And then over here are the fuel prices. Your car takes the 98. the tractor and some other diesel stuff takes this, and then that's off-road diesel, so it's not taxed, so it's a lot cheaper. You can notice it's a lot cheaper. Now these prices do change daily, so yeah. Right now, once you have all that, you want to make sure it's like relatively close to the bicycle, because you're only supposed to have one thing on this thing, but if you stack them correctly, you can have more than one, which is really neat, and I love to abuse this because it makes it a lot faster than just taking one at a time. So it kind of just like sticks there, and then you just make sure you got to orient your stuff correctly to make sure it's not interfering with anything else. And again, you can use your mouse wheel to scroll and kind of move stuff around. So you just gotta be careful how it's placed. Once again, get on, slide it up, make sure that you still have the things. And then secondly, you take here, go to, don't take the first right, take the second one. And I like to look back on, make sure my stuff is actually there. Bring it back, it goes over here. Again, that's why I like to look back. To make sure stuff doesn't fall off. Because sometimes it's not set properly. Alright. Now, oh, I also forgot to put this up. That's a very big thing. Sometimes if you turn too hard, then it'll crash. Not like that. You see how it kind of stuck on? That's normally what happens. So you want to place the stuff in the center of your boat as for the best weight distribution. Now, I am going to go grab the rest of the stuff. Now, one thing you might want to do before you leave this little area is get back on your moped, put your kickstand up, start on get going. Back to Tino's, because there's something behind it that's really useful. And it's really amazing. I'm going to take advantage of where these things went up. The NPCs really don't have any regard for their lives. If you hit one, you kill them, you will go to jail. There's no time skip in jail. You just sit there for a few hours. You go back to Tino's, and in the back over here, notice there's a little outhouse. Now, this isn't a joke. It is literally a save and quit menu. Once you go there, you go back to the menu, it loads you right back up. Now, one little fun fact about the save and quits is it skips you, I think, 2 hours. I believe it skips 2 hours in the game. See? It was gloomy, now it's sunny. There's only a few points in the entire game where you can save and quit. One of them being in your house. So it is a very notable thing. If there's a interactable toilet, most of the time, it's a save point. So if you don't have your kickstand up and you don't like using it, you can kind of just slowly walk over and then get on. And then, obviously, once you're done, go back. And, yeah, you kind of just have to save every now and then, as it is really useful when it comes to saving. Because again, if you die, if you're in permadeath world, then it kind of sucks. You're just dead, and you don't get to save that. There's no way to reverse the save. The game deletes it. I've looked into files, I've looked at the code base, it just deletes it. So you don't want to do that. But if you're in respawnable death, then you'll respawn over at the church, and there's a few ways you can get back. Most notably, the bus, but it kind of takes a long time. Once you get back, you want to place the moped back down, get this thing started, and then you want to put it in reverse. And I still like to pick up the moped as it's a little heavy. Reverse, you can notice, it's just noticeably slower. It is so slow, and it really sucks. But once you get like to get past this little tree that's in front of me, right next to my handlebars. I like to bring the nose past it, just a little bit, and then I set this back down, put it in drive, pick it back up, and then it gives me a decent layout. And you're kind of aiming for that little spot in between the trees. Sometimes you do get lost, and you're looking for a pier. You're just looking for like a white pier, just like the one we pulled up. Now, if you notice, I'm kind of pulling to the right just a little bit. And it's because I have all my stuff onto the right, so you kind of want to center your boat correctly. Now, again, you're looking for a white pier. It's kind of in the distance. You can kind of see it, but it's just in the distance, right above the handlebars. You just want to look right there, and that's where you're aiming. This island we'll get to in the next area, but as of right now, that's where you want to go. And I'll meet you guys over there. Once you're over here, you'll notice a little few landmarks. There's some trees. Oh, obviously there's some trees. There's trees everywhere. But again, little white pier next to a rock. You can kind of see the rock a little bit better. You just want to come exactly the same way you came in. You want to pick up your Jones, and remember, because it just keeps throwing off the balance. It's never good. You kind of just shove it back in. Now, ooh, look at that, some lightning. You can even hear it too. Lightning is kind of dangerous in this game, so just be a little wary when answering the phone. It will strike you through the phone. So it's a really weird mechanic. Honestly, kind of interesting. I really like the developers of this game, as they put a lot of thought and detail in this, and I want to give them a shout out. So, they are coming up with a new game. I believe it's in the works. Not totally sure, and I'm not sponsored by any of these people. I just enjoy their games and their production. So if you can still hear, I still have my boat running, as it kind of just drives it into the dock a little bit better. But you can always just shut it off, and you want to make sure. So now, once you have it off, and you have your two-stroke, you want to kind of unscrew the cap by just hovering over it, and then having your mouse wheel scroll one way or the other. And then you want to tip your bottle upside down. It doesn't matter until it's above. So once you can see it just line up, and it's perfect. You kind of want to take your hand off and just let it stay there. Once you got it all the way full, it'll stop filling, and you'll know it's full by the bar disappearing. It's not that long of a process, and it's pretty simple, and it's definitely necessary. At the start of the game, you only have enough for like 1.5 round trips. I have been stranded multiple times because I never got two-stroke. Two-stroke is really important. You kind of want to just leave it down here, and I like to sometimes refill it after every other mission, I believe. It's been a while since I've played, but once you have all your stuff, you want to take this, and you kind of do roll a little downhill, which is bad, because you do not want to get stuck in the water. You want to kind of just put it up a little bit. If you get stuck in the water, you can't really start it, and you can pick it up and you can get out, sure, but it's just kind of a pain. I'll leave that down here. I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. Now, again, get on the moped, and I'm rolling the opposite way. Lovely. And sometimes what I do like to do is like drop it off this side, get on, hit the kickstand, get this thing started, and then get off, and pick it up, and then get back on. If you do that, you can start, and it kind of has a little bit of rubber band to it. And if the game's not totally sure what to do with it, just move around, you can kind of see it's rubber band. It's not happening the way this time. What you want to do is kind of come over, and I like to stall it just a bunch. It doesn't really harm it. Less work for me. Kind of go over here, and then just place it here, and then it connects to the battery charger. Obviously, this is using electricity. As you can see, if you go in here, the electricity meter is running. So, and this is why we bought the fuses. you see I have an outed fuse right here. What I want to do, take it out, come over, you see how there's no fuse? I'm going to turn this off just for safety because you can get shot. You take it out by just right-clicking whenever you see that no sign. That's the fuse. See, we're missing that. I'm going to put this back in, and go back up. And again, electricity is off. And again, remember all of the stuff that we bought that wasn't, like, on the floor? And kind of going to show up here. So you got the batteries, then you got spark plug and the oil. Oh, those are the light bulbs, not the battery. That's the batteries. And then we got the fuses. It's a good thing we got these fuses, because they do come in handy. Because if you can't read Finnish, I can't. I just use Google Translate, and I'll figure out what all these do later. You pick up the box, you hit F, and it drops a fuse. I like to just shove the fuse box down there, as it's kind of out of the way. Go in. If you see a check mark on pretty much anything, it means you can place it there. Once you do that, put it back, goes back in, turn the breaker back on, it starts spinning again. Now we have everything that's supposed to be there. And this is the phone I was talking about. Pick it up, doesn't really do anything. You can unplug it if you don't want calls. Most of the time, I would like to keep it plugged in. This is the entire map. This is where we live. Also with Grandma and Grandpa right down the street, over down this way. That's a mailbox. That's one of that is ours. I'm gonna go back. And the save point I was talking about in the house is the second door in the hallway. You come in, here's the toilet, you can save it. This is most of the time when you're making long progress, that's where you'll be saving, most of the time. This is where the food is. If you look up in the corner, I am really thirsty. There's two things you can do. You can either drink out of the beer case by just hitting F on it, or you hit the faucet, stand a little bit back, hit Q, which makes you lean over, and then as you notice, it goes down a lot faster, and doesn't leave you drunk, because this beer is strong. But if you noticed, my urine was also going up. You don't want to let pretty much anything get in the red, or if it's in there for too long, you will die. Sausages, possibly the best food source out there. Hunger, all the way gone. You just hit F to eat them. You don't need to cook them. You can. There is a working stove in here. I just choose not to use it because I don't understand how to. One extra little tidbit of thing you can do is you want to get back on the moped. Get started. Oh, and look at that. We have a wonderful light. As you can see. Oh. I think we just blew some things again. Yep, seems like we just blew it again. Huh. The tower's spinning a lot slower. Let's see if we can reset it. Here, it was ringing. You don't want to answer it if it rings once or twice, because that probably means it got struck by lightning. Because this is an old landline. They don't have technology like we do right now in 2025. You want to kind of go and put that. The back's just easy. You have to be careful. It's right here. Go in, go out. You go to the door sometimes. Most of the time, though, you'll be safe. This is Grandma and Grandpa's. Look, a little gift for us. Some booze. And some gift money. Let's see what we got. Ooh, that is a great amount of gift money. I believe the maximum is 3,200, but I could be wrong. Now, there's a little turbo emblem you can actually put on your car, and there's some booze. I normally just leave it here. There's also other things that you have to be aware of when going around. Once you're at the grandpa, you go down. And this is the little driveway right next to the mailbox. Got a little trailer for wood. You you got a tractor, and you got a diesel can, and then if you saw, there's some logs over there. Those logs, there is a job for it. Someone will call you and ask you for firewood. You take the tractor, you hook it up here, back in, and you chop the logs. Pretty straightforward. I'll show you how to do that later, once we actually get that home. The tractor is useful for a few things, but as of right now, it's not really that useful to us. This is our mailbox. Nothing in it. My last name is Coolman. I just thought it was funny. And then my grandparents, we can't interact with their mailbox. Can't interact with our own. So I will show you where this needs to be in a little bit once I get back to the house. And this game is a very massive map. This game has a large map. Yeah, shut off the light, shut off the engine, stuff like that. You can right-click to close these doors, and if you're ever in the sink, you can actually sleep on this little seat here by hitting F. But as of right now, we don't need to. Oh, I did blow a fuse right here. That's why the garage wasn't working. Pick it up, grab another. Now that we have this in, we can install it straight into the panel. Now, I think everything should be working, so I think this is a great time to save once again. Oh, it's dark. Looks like the weather has cleared up, so great. We can go to bed. Alright. Now we can turn off all of the lights that we had on, because we do not want to be running up the electricity bill. Once we have that, still a little cloudy and stuff, but this gives us perfect opportunity to make sure we have everything that we need to be able to set up. Alright. Looks like this is nice and charged, so I'm just going to take it off so we're not wasting any battery. Or not any battery, but any electricity. So obviously, we have a few things over here. This is every part we will need. Ooh, you guys hear that? Really thundery. It's fun. It's probably going to rain again. But there are a few things we can go out and still get. But as of right now, once again, this is the map. This is a very large map that we're going to be going through. And so it is very necessary that you kind of know where you are pretty much at all times. So, yeah. And in this game, remember, there is different sizes worth of bolts. So let me go over and get the spanner set. This is a little spanner set. You have to hit 2 to enter work mode, and that lets you see the size of everything. Then you got a ruler, spark plug wrench, screwdriver. Timing in this game is everything. You really need to know how to do it. Alright. Well, I guess, there's no better thing to do than let's get started. So first, you want to grab the little subframe here we have. You need to be back in 1 to grab stuff. You need to hit 1, go back. Subframe goes right up here. And I need to be a little further away from it, so you kind of just have to feel around. And then see the check mark, just left click, it bolts up, but you still need to bolt it yourself. Let's go back over and grab this. Alright, and the subframe is a size 10 wrench. So we grab this one, and there's gonna be 4 bolts that we're looking for. One's gonna be over here, and you have to scroll up when it comes to moving the bolt down. And then there should, if you can't find a bolt, hit Q, and kind of just drag. There it is. Kind of just drag your mouse along. And then we have to repeat the same on the other side. And again, kind of just drag your mouse across till you see it light up. And yeah. Next thing I believe is the wishbones, which it is. So there are two different ones. This is the front left, so it would be this one. And remember guys, I have a guide up with me as I cannot remember this, as for me this is very difficult. And I will probably memorize it later. But as of right now, I have a little guide. So these are also both 10 sized. And kind of just scroll up, put them in. I'll make sure to post the guide I have up in the description. That way you guys can also use it. It's a very useful guide. It tells you what size bolt you need and what needs to go where exactly. And also how many bolts there are. So next, we need to go over here. And based off of memory, I believe it's the I don't know what to call these. I think it's this. It is in fact this. This is the front right, so we can put the spindle on. And then we got the front left. And this is a size 12. Go 12, go over. You kinda, once again, just have to look around for it. Finding the bolt on some of these can be difficult. There it is. It's on the little tip of the wishbone. Next, we're gonna go for the axle, or the half shaft. And these will kind of get bolted in a little bit later. I believe it's a half shaft. Or it very well may not be. No, it is not actually. That doesn't come till later. Next thing is the struts. These kind of just place in where you'd think they were. Apply vertically to the wishbone. And with struts and putting on suspension, the car does like to do some weird things. There we go. And the first one is a size 10 bolt. Let's go do the other side. And then there's a second bolt that needs to be tightened that is a size 9. And it is down here. It's 2 actually. Oh, there's 4. Okay. next, I believe, is the brake disc. And that's these things. These are both unidirectional, so they don't really matter on what side you put them on. It just matters that they're installed properly. This is what we'll place the half shaft onto. This little triangle part's going to go to the engine. I want to make sure that we have it facing where the engine would be. And see, just puts right there. And we'll bolt it in later. Sometimes the grab things are a little weird with this, but overall, pretty good. Now we can bolt them in, because that first little bolt was pulled up, so we need a size 14. And then the guide says to have the wheels, and so I think we will get those last though, because there's a few things we need to do with them first. I don't feel like putting them on. Now for the rear suspension, it's easier if you grab the jack, which is, it's kind of weird to grab, so you kind of got to grab it at the bottom and then you can move with it. It is a very slow process though. Want to make sure you got it placed in a good spot. And then just spam left click a little bit. Now mine is not on there well at all, so I will reposition it a little bit more forward. Once you got it to a good height, then we can continue. Next, it's going to be the spindles, or the trail arm, that's what this is called. This is the right left, the rear left, so it should be this one. Yep, goes right there. And then your other one, pick it up, goes right here. And this is going to be a size 12 bolt. You want to pick up your spanner set, get size 12. And there's going to be 2 bolts, one for each side of the trail arm. Perfect. Next, it's going to be little coil springs. Now these don't require any bolt, but they require some finesse to get into the actual thing. I think since it's jacked up, doesn't normally, I don't jack it up, but it is a lot easier to put it in, so I thought I might do it for this one, because it's just easier to putting these in. Next is going to be the shock absorber. These little things. No, I don't remember which way this goes. I think it's this way. Yep, there we go. When installing parts, you kind of have to place them in where the generalized location of they would be. Yep, there we go. Alright. And these will be, oh, look at that, another size 12. Put it in the trunk. You pull over here, put it in, be size 12. And then on the actual trail arm, it is a size 6. This is one of the smaller sized bolts. You don't really find these things too common, but you can find them. And if you notice, up in my on top left corner of the screen, my hunger is a little low, but my thirst is in the red. It's not good. So we're gonna go in here, lean over, and drink some nice good old water. Now, I should probably take these out. These are the spark plugs that are going to be used for the engine. And there's a battery box. These batteries are actually used for the flashlight that's right over here. So I'm probably just going to put them in now. Let's move the battery out of the way. And then just kind of throw it off to the side. Hit F on the back of it when it says battery cover. And then, once again, a little bit weird when it comes to putting these in. There we go. And battery cover once again. And then you can hit F to put it into your hand. And then I think you can just click it to turn it off. Yeah, you just hit F. I like to put this, well, in the sink or on next to it, just so when we spawn in and it's dark again, then, wait, oh, doesn't actually work. Go in the sink. Oh, I thought it did. Again, if you can tell, it's been a while since I've played this game. And this is the little helmet that we have. You hit F to put it on. Kind of limits your vision, but if you crash on the moped, it does save you. A little bit. It won't 100% save you. Just look down at the ground and hit F again, and then you can take it off. This is also a great point in time to hit save. And we're back. Now, next, we're going to be putting on the brake disc. These go in the very back. And these are size 14. Come on. There we go. Size 14. Yay. The ground looks a little fuzzy, but that's kind of happens sometimes with the game. Alright, and if you had the wheels, you can put them on now. I don't, so I'm just not going to. But next is the steering assistant rack. Goes in there, and then this attaches to size 9 bolts. Perfect. Next, I believe it's going to be the steering rods. This is the front right, so this one goes over here. When it comes to putting on things, again, this game can be just a little buggy with its physics and how it interacts with the player. There we go. And there it goes. Alright, and now we get a size 12 from the worky shop in the spanner set. And just bolt it right up. Yep, perfect. Next we're going to attach the steering column. And obviously it goes in the steering column place where you'd normally see a steering wheel. See? Just goes right in. And first we need to bolt it up with 8. With all the rust on this kind of gets a little hard to see some bolts sometimes, but... And as of right now, we don't need to install the steering wheel. This is the default steering wheel. We can get a different one, and I can show you where to get those. But, yeah. As of right now, this is most of the suspension, I believe. Yeah. This is the entirety of the framing done, so congratulations. We have completed the first part, and I will show you how to get the other stuff in the next video. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a good day, and see you later.